Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Hans Martin Jr., your real movie critic. I am the co-host of The Real Movie Critic versus The Cine Guy. And I'm here to talk about one of my favorite games, but I'm going to be talking about Mortal Kombat II. Now, for those of y'all remember, and I was about maybe 7 or 8 years old when this game came out, and I remember seeing it in the arcade. And what really drew me, as typical for any young kid, is the violence and gore that video game comes with. You know, it was so astonishing seeing all this blood splatter and everything, and that was just the tip of the iceberg for me. And I remember I just loved going in and playing these games and just seeing the unique characters this game really brought out. Most notably, and definitely one of my favorite characters in that game and also in the rest of the franchise, was Scorpion. A yellow ninja looking guy with probably one of the coolest moves that he has, special moves, with a cool catchphrase when he throws that rope spear or whatever you want to call it, and he goes, "Get over here!" And it comes to you, and then you can lay an uppercut or whatever you want to do, or whatever combo you want to give to that person. Oh man, that really brought me into it. Not only that, you know, Scorpion does go, "Come here," as well. And those two type of phrases I still say to this day, thanks to that character, Scorpion. I mean, there were other great characters too, like Sub-Zero with his freeze special move. That was very unique at that time. These type of moves were very, very unique, where you could actually freeze a person, they stand still, and you give them a nice combo hit right after that. And some other characters like Jax, how he goes, "Gotcha!" You know, and that game is so memorable for me, especially, you know, that kind of like the narration during the fights. But the biggest thing, obviously, when you talk about Mortal Kombat, is the fatalities. Where at the end, when you do win, you have an option to learn a secret code to do a fatality move of brutally killing somebody. Now, before I go on, I just want to say I am not a maniac or a bloodthirsty type of person. I mean, I kind of grew when I was a kid with that. But at that time, oh my goodness, I was so enamored by the brutality of these fatalities. I mean, you could have a dude cut you in half with his hat. That was by Kung Lao. You could have Scorpion blowing fire and burning you into bones. I mean, you could have Kitana giving you a kiss and all of a sudden you just grow fat and blow up. I mean, these were crazy. At that time, those were some crazy things that this video game really brought to you. And man, when I got the game for Super Nintendo, man, all I wanted to do was do all these different fatalities on all these different people, man. Just picking all the different characters. I actually learned every single character and try to beat the game with that character and try to do all the different fatalities that it offered. And at the time, there was no internet and stuff too, so I literally had to get the magazines to know these codes for these fatalities. And man, that game really, really paved the way, not only for violence in video games, I guess that kind of paved the way for that, but and fighting games in general, it gives you a unique style with the combo moves and everything to really be smart about fighting the other person. You really have to strategize to defeat your opponent, especially when you get to the final boss, which is Kung Lao. That dude is hard, okay? And for those of you who don't know, he was one of the hardest characters to defeat. And when you finally defeat him, man, that whole like feeling of, yes, I did it, you know. And man, Kung Lao is definitely up there as one of my favorite bosses in video game history, that's for sure. And yeah, you know, it's an awesome game, great characters, you know, paved the way for Johnny Cage, Raisa Kitana, Melina, Kung Lao. Man, that's just to name a few, and that's just Mortal Kombat 2. Eventually, it became a great franchise with another one of my favorites, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and then once it gets to that 3D mode with Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance and then all the way to Armageddon, that's where I pretty much set the bar right after Armageddon. I didn't play the video games after that, but I really enjoyed the uniqueness of each character, the stories for each character, especially for Scorpion. Scorpion is definitely one of my favorites for sure. And yeah, you know, it's definitely one of my favorite fighting games. And it all started when I went to the arcade and saw it and saw how popular it is. And I never looked back from it. You know, that was definitely one of my childhoods. And at the time, I had to rebel against my parents because of how violent it is. And, you know, at the time, I had to play that game secretly. But it was worth it for me in the end. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Mortal Kombat 2, one of my games. Thank you all for listening, and happy gaming, everybody.